Hello learners, my name is Pooja Gupta and I welcome you heartily in this particular channel named as Experience English with Pooja. In this channel, I'll be going to bust through the myths that why people even after practicing grammar and learning new vocabulary words with their heart are still not capable to speak in English, because the practical scenario of a language is far away which has not been taught to you. So let's go through this one by one and understand what is the problem that you are not able to speak English still. Number one, it's a big myth that you need to surround yourself among native speakers. Only then you can learn a language. Please focus. Only then you learn a language. Yes, undoubtedly, it's truth that when you stay among native speakers, you will pick some of the words, kind of slangs and some phrases here and there. But to master a language, you need to have a conscious kind of attention to this thing, that yeah, I'll be learning a word, I'll be learning its usage, I'll be practicing it. Only then you can improve in a language. Second misconception is talent. Of course, learning anything new needs talent, but only talent is the thing that can help you to learn a language. No, it's not that. You have to use your senses, you have to use your brain, you have to practice, you have to read, you have to listen, you have to talk. Only then you can learn a language. Let's move to the next slide. Language acquisition is a conscious act. Of course it is. To prove this point, I'll be reading you a little bit of message so that I could help you to understand it. Okay. So the question is, what is a teacher? Now the message, the answer is like a very psychological or a kind of social message which we often give to our students. A teacher is someone who teaches you the finer aspects of life, someone who encourages you to share your gifts, talents wisely. Now, if I pick few of the words from there, teacher is someone who teaches you finer aspects of life. If I pick this phrase from here, finer aspects of life, I have to remind it. Okay, I have to remind myself of this finer aspects of life and then use it again and again. But before using it again and again, I have to understand the meaning of it, right? So many of the times I see students are using dictionaries, they are learning new random words which is not going to help them. Again, reason is that you have to read or study English according to the context of your needs. Okay, we'll discuss this thing further on. Let's move to the second point. It is often claimed that living among native speakers of a language makes you learn it quick. However, I firmly hold an opposite belief, because living among native speakers cannot promote it. I have seen a lot of people who live in China for 6 7 months, but they are not able to understand a single word. The reason is that they are not consciously paying any attention to learn that language. Language is a scientific thing, it's not something which can be learned without any conscious effort. Okay. The third one, it is another thing to pick a line, a phrase, or a slang, or to have command over the linguistic is altogether another thing. I just told you this thing, that while staying among natives, you may pick up some slangs, some words, some vocabulary, but you would not be capable of speaking the language as a whole. Let's take an example of Punjabi people. As we already know that Canada has become second Punjab, like this Punjabi is the second language in Canada. Many of the people from Punjab are going there and settling down over there. Even those people, when they come back to India or Punjab particularly, they speak few of the words with Canadian accent, which shows that they are NRIs, right? But they are not capable of speaking English fluently, just like the Canadian people, right? The reason here is the same as I told you earlier, that picking some words, some slangs, and a little bit of accent is not going you to master the language. Okay, so let's see what points we need to focus on. Crucial steps to learn any language. So first step is, a beginner must focus on the content of the language that is relevant to him initially, and later on should focus on the expanding vocabulary. Yes, of course. Suppose if I'm a teacher and I teach English, so the vocabulary which is used by the botanical doctors is none of my use. I would not be using such words, like they call rose some different and difficult words. That is none of my business. If I am a speaker of English, rose is enough for me. So first of all, you have to understand that you must learn any language. It could be English or any other language. that what it is in the context. Like for example, if you are a student, what kind of things you usually need to discuss on, like your chapters, maybe some problems of mathematics, maybe some problems of English language as a whole, maybe some grammatical proportions. Why don't you just focus on the vocabulary words that you need to use first, and later on you can think about expanding your vocabulary. Don't wait for perfection to begin practice language. Only speaking can bring perfection. Now this is another thing. We people in India actually keep on this cramming grammar, solving a lot of grammatical exercises, because this has been fed to our minds that grammar means English. If you are good in grammar, you will be good in English. No, this is not true. Grammar is a portion of a language, but it is not a language as a whole, right? You should start speaking English on the very first day when you decide that, yeah, I'll be improving in this English. You shouldn't wait for perfection to come. You couldn't say that, okay, I'll be practicing for 6 months, then I'll be perfect, then I'll start speaking. No, this is not the right way. What you have to do is, if you learn 3 words today, or you learn 3 sentences today, or you learn 3 phrases, start using them on day one. From today only you have to start it, and then practice, and you will become perfect. Please remember, practice makes perfect. Jumping from one concept to another is not going to help. Try to grasp the meaning and try to comprehend. Comprehension is the key. Most of the competitive examinations in India are having a very crucial step, that is comprehension in English. Now, why we are paying this much, kind of mind to this comprehension part? Reason is, whenever you are reading a language, it is the most important thing that you understand and you are able to decode the message in it. If you are not able to decode the message, suppose someone is talking to you, if you are not able to understand what he is saying, how could you reciprocate? You would not find yourself able to reply to that person. You have to be in a position where you will be able to decode the information. You have to process the information. Your brain must be able to process the information. Only then we can expect you to answer that question properly. Let's move to the next step. Language acquisition is no different than any other art. Your muscles are involved in it. Listen to the pronunciation of words and repeat until you are confident to use it. Now, definitely language acquisition is just like any other art, like suppose dancing, music. See, I have seen there's a trend in India right now. Many of the people are learning French, and many of the people are learning musical instruments to impress others some of the times. But let's compare learning to play a guitar to learn to speak in English. Both of them needs practice. Both of them needs to understand that it has to be slow and grasp. Slow and grasp. If it is like that, you are jumping from one point to another. Like for example, they are learning C chord and then D chord, then F chord, and you are thinking one day about articles, second day about listening to music in English, and third day about reading a book in English. All that will conclude into no progress in English. So you have to focus on one thing. Like if you are reading a book, read it aloud. Practice three of your senses. Read it aloud, listen to the correct English, and see the correct English. All these senses, all three these senses collaborating to make you more English aware. Okay? The next point is, it is quite natural to get overwhelmed and failed miserably, but it is avoidable. Keep your expectations realistic. See, I'm not I don't want to talk about anyone, but I have seen several videos on YouTube where they are claiming that be English fluent in 7 days, be English fluent in 10 days, be English fluent in 30 days. It is just not possible. It is just not possible. You tell me one thing. If one day, which is gonna happen definitely, if one day you become English literate and you're very much able to speak in English fluently, would you be able to teach Hindi to a foreigner, to a Britisher in 10 days? Would you be? Please answer me in the comment section. Can you teach Hindi to a Britisher in 10 days? Right, it's not possible. You will be starting with the varnamala, then you going to the do shabd ke jod and all then it's a long process, right? But when it comes to the English part, we are always on the advantageous side. Now why we are? Because we are already learning this. We are actually exposed to this language since our childhood, so we do have an advantage over any other nationality, right? So, but still, don't over expect. Keep your expectations realistic. You will be improving every day, but it is not possible that you become fluent in 10 days. It is not. So keep your expectations very realistic. It takes time, conscious effort, and curiosity to gain and control of a language, just like any other thing new to you. Relax and enjoy this journey. Okay guys, this is the last slide of my this YouTube video. So I would be hoping that you would be following me. Please consider subscribing my channel so that we will be going and enjoying this journey all together. Thank you so much. Good day.